It all comes down to this then, our grand finale at one of the most grandiose tracks on the planet, brand new for rFactor 2. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, located deep in the Ardennes. It has stood the test of time. First raced in 1922, it's had a near 100-year run as one of the most beloved circuits on the planet. Recreated here in rFactor 2 in perfect time for us to settle some scores. We will find out which drivers are going into the playoffs to get into GT Pro, which drivers will be getting their automatic transfer to GT Pro, and of course, who will become our series champion. As we've all seen throughout its tenure in motorsport, weather plays a crucial part in racing in this region. Always be ready for a downpour, and today it seems very much the same way. An 85% chance of rain through today's entertainment. I'm sure this will make some drivers very nervy indeed. None more so than those at the top of our standings, just 8 points separating the top 3 drivers, all 3 from different outfits. The drop scores are sorted, the championship is balanced precariously on a knife's edge, and we are ready to go. It's time for round 6 of 6, the finale, our battle in the Ardennes, in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO, live here on the race. And as it's been for every single round of GT Challenge so far, it's myself, Lewis McLean, alongside me, the ever-trusty Aidan Millward.
Yeah, it's great to be here at a brand new track for rFactor 2, a track, as you said, it's loved the world over, especially in this particular category. It's a bit shorter than how it used to be, a little bit safer at the same time, but still there's that big chance of rain, as you saw maybe in the late 90s, a particular open wheel event here won by Mr. Damon Hill. The rain can really play a part at this track, so yeah, strap in, it's going to be a brilliant one.
It's a circuit that's evolved with time. We've seen it in many different variations. You spoke of its much longer run up into, up to its opening few years. And then when it got changed, it became about 14, 15 kilometers, I think it was. And then changed again in the 80s and became effectively the circuit that we know and love today. Focusing on today, we can see there how this is all basically working out, what we're playing for. It's the road to GT Pro. The top 5 from GT Challenge, the standings this evening, will move automatically into GT Pro. And of course, we find out who becomes our GT Challenge Series champion. Between P6 and 10, they go into a relegation playoff. More on that later in the broadcast. We'll get through into that. And then, of course, how that works for the GT Pro drivers. And with all of that to play for, if you're a driver on the grid, Aidan, the last thing you want, realistically, it could be rain. You don't want it. You just kind of want a nice balanced round, especially if you're in sort of like 6th, 7th, 8th. You just want a nice, comfortable round to get you through.
Yeah, some people are going to be trying to work out, because nobody knows when the rain is going to come during the race. It could be raining at the start and potentially dry out, or it could be wet all the way through. So do you set the car up for 100% rain? Do you set the car up for dry and hope it comes late? Yeah, nobody knows. So if you're at the top, you probably just want to drive and stay on the track. But those that are a little bit further down, they've got more to lose, sort of. So they might want to try and push harder. It's all going to... It might go badly for some people, but hopefully nobody has an accident that potentially loses them a spot in this split, or a spot in the higher split for next season.
Of course, there you go. You can see it. Season 2 relegation, 1st of February 2021. So we'll hopefully be seeing you in the new year and see which 5 other drivers will progress, who can stay in GT Pro, and how that one will play off before Season 3 begins, potentially in March. And I'm sure we'll be very much looking forward to the 3rd season of GT Challenge, as well as the 3rd season of GT Pro, which was wrapped up last week. For now, though, our focus on Spa. You say it's a difficult circuit to set up for in the wet, dry conditions. What do you go for when we're sort of in this middle bit? Who knows? It's a hard circuit to set up for anyway. You've got a lot of challenges when it comes to the circuit, being the central twisty part, the 1st and 3rd sectors, where it's all about straight line speed. Of course, the stuff that we've all been very much aware of over the course of running at Spa. Of course, now we get those challenges lovely in rFactor 2. The thing with it is, we've spoke before about the Ferrari being the fastest in the straight line all season. That's courtesy to them running mostly on one rear wing throughout the season, on its lowest form. And some of the Callaway drivers haven't been necessarily running that. Now, that's obviously kind of negated, as everyone's going to be running fairly low as possible, because you want to be as fast as possible in a straight line. Obviously, we'll see how that one balances out. But that as well is that some slight changes. I mean, we've got enormous slipstream, and up to Lake Om, that will completely negate any sort of advantage the Ferrari had. We're currently in qualifying, and so we can currently see what the status quo is. And at the moment, Mikael Smedel, would you believe it, going for a pole position. Wasn't on pole last round, though, was he, Aidan?
No. It was Matt Richards on pole last time at Indianapolis, wasn't it?
It certainly was. Was going to win that race one as well until he had a bit of a screen freeze, lagged him backwards into Smedel, and Ibrahim Khan became the first driver that wasn't Mikael Smedel to win a race one. Will things return to normal here? Are we going to see Smedel take yet another race one victory? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see the current order of the top five. Smedel, Khan, Richards, Turka Hakkinen, Lone Nita Velix, right up there in fourth place, back on form. That is an incredible opener to the session. And Jordi Spears in behind fifth place. We focus on his teammate Kasper Stolzer, who's running up towards the line now. And we'll see what he can do. Currently down in 22nd position. I think it's only going to move him up to about 15th. Not ideal for him. 1.1 seconds off. We're seeing a fairly close order between sort of fifth and everyone else. The top four are close, but there's a massive gap there between Hakkinen and Spears.
Huge. There's you've also got the four Corvettes there, but Spears is in a Ferrari, which, as you've been saying, the Ferrari is rapid in a straight line, but the Corvette comes back in that middle sector, and we saw it in Formula One last season. The Ferrari was just OP in a straight line, but the Mercs clawed it back in the middle bit, so it was effectively balanced out come the end. But Turka Hakkinen having possibly the best qualifying session he's had this season as he comes across the line to finish another lap. It's a little bit slow in his personal best, but still there in fourth place. So Spears with the fastest sector overall gets up still in fourth, but has his own personal best, and Smedel going even faster still.
He is indeed. To give you reference as to where we were in GT Pro just a week ago, because obviously they've already had their qualifying session. We've already had the benchmarks. It was Kevin Siggy on pole position there in the BMW with a 2-minute 12.2 in that session. Smedel on the run towards the line, 5 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. If he improves by a few tenths of a second, it'll be a time maybe good enough to put him inside the top five of GT Pro. Great first sector from Timotej Antonovsky, battling for his way inside the top five, up in the top 10 of the championship across the line. The Nürburgring winner goes to fifth place at the moment, moves himself ahead of Louis-Philippe Capamajan, who's now in sixth place. D'Amelio dropped to seventh in all of this. Where's Richards? Wasn't Richards in third earlier?
Yeah. He
must have left the server. Yeah, he has, because we're down to 22, so he's departed the session. Hopefully we'll be back for it. Climax, Nick Jacobs out of the corner in 18th place at the moment. We need to find someone to do a good lap on board with. Someone about to begin a lap. We'll hold fire on that one until we find someone, and we'll take you around the rFactor 2 Spa. Just in Matt Richards reloading into the game, so obviously he's had some form of issue. He's got an ankle problem as well as Matt Richards. Trying to get himself inside the top five of the championship. He's just currently in sixth place, but he's been having a few issues with his ankle, and so he's got to do some work to get himself among that. And it's not going to be any easier with that, is it, Aidan?
No, because you're using your feet to obviously control how fast the car is going. Which one is it? Is it his left or his right? Left. He could right foot brake. Yeah. No, he'll left foot brake it. Why not?
That's his own win. Dan Cow to the line, then goes to 20th. I wonder if we could take a look with Luca D'Amelio, who's currently in 9th position, just started his lap, I believe, running into La Source. Yep. We are indeed. So, running through the La Source hairpin on the run down the hill towards the one of the most famous corners in motorsport, Eau Rouge, of course. We've seen a couple of overtakes into here. Whether we'll see any, well, we'll have to wait and see. Massive uphill, and then very, very tricky on the rear end here. Free Radion. We saw a huge crash here in GT Pro with Yuri Kasdorp and a few of the other R8G drivers onto the Kemmel, straight through the Kemmel curve. And this is where things are going to get really dicey in the slipstream. Back in the old days, we'd go straight on and go slightly left and hook round towards Malmedy. Now, though, we go through this right-left complex of Lake Com and through the corner of Malmedy before we start going back downhill. There we go. So I think that was Matt Richards rejoining the session. It is indeed. He's up in third place. Down towards Rivage. Huge downhill. Very easy to lock up and slip and slide the car. You can make it stick around the outside, although I wouldn't really recommend it. If you can, though, it gives you the inside to the corner with no name, or alternatively, Jackie X corner if you're a cool person. Then into Puon. corner with a couple of names itself. This double left-hander, very hard to hook it into that second part of it because the car is constantly pulling away on the front end. Look at this with Luca Di Matteo, not quite able to get it into that second apex. Don't think it'll matter too much. Into Fania, also known as Piff Paff. There's Piff done a little bit wide, then going into Paff, and it seems okay. Maybe not too quick, not using any of the curb. Campus, right-hander before we head into curve pull Frey. Stavolo as well. On the exit, running as far wide as possible, just maybe picking up a few chunks of gravel onto the backstretch where we've got that run into Blanchimont, where everyone's going to be preparing themselves. The course sort of ducks and weaves left and right, just preparing us for this very, very fast. I kind of get all the way over to the right-hand side, use as much of that concrete as you possibly can for the easiest run through Blanchimont, being careful not to scrub off any speed into the final chicane. Previously, it was a bus stop, certainly isn't one now. Find that lazy second apex on the exit, power it up, and then run towards the line. It wasn't a great second sector, though. I don't think the third one's really much home to write home about. It certainly isn't. 13.6, stays 10th.
Yeah, lost about half a second through that middle sector. A couple of missed apexes, bit of a slide coming out of Rivage as well that would have lost a bit of time. And Higgums, Jordi's Veers, again, fastest in that first sector into the not bus stop. Some would say this portion of the track has ruined the flow of the older layout from the 90s, but he comes across the line. I keep thinking that it's that checker flag, but it's actually there. Oh, wow.
Big
lap.
Nice lap there from Jordi. Matt Richards just messaged me saying, I don't know where that lap came from, as he is now demoted down into 4th place. The final laps of the session, it seems like it's an already guaranteed pole position from Mikkel Smedel. Yet another one, the form book being returned to normality. Paul Auguste Lana late onto the server for Volante Racing a little bit further down. That's not a great a great first sector, or particularly a good middle sector, but at the moment he is 22nd, and the penultimate position on the grid. Andrea Terzi, the only one directly behind him into that final chicane. Only a few drivers out on circuit at the moment, as we've got 36 seconds left in the session. We'll move over as soon as the timer hits 0. Paul Auguste Lana to the line. And there he goes, 21st, so he moves up an extra position ahead of Dan Kell, who's doing a terrible job there. It's unacceptable for someone who was so good at Spa in the WTF1 Spa Invitational. No, I'm joking, of course. He's doing his best. Bless him. Mikkel Smedel to the line. Purple first, purple second. Where's he going to go with this one? Obviously to pole position, but by how much? A 12.3. That would put him 4th on GT Pro. Massive lap there from Smedel. Juan Carlos Fernandez trying to get inside the top 10, and does so. Bumps D'Amelio outside of it.
Giancarlo Velarde doesn't get to finish his lap because he was a bit too late. This is how it works. Once that timer gets to 0, that's it. You're done. So field's going to go into a warm-up, but there is your starting grid. Mikkel Smedel on pole by nearly 0.4 of a second for Ibrahim Khan. Great outing for the Zancho driver. Jordi's Veers, very good lap in that Ferrari. Then Matt Richards in a Callaway, followed by Tucker Hacken in another Callaway. That 4th, 5th, 6th grouping, very, very close.
Absolutely, and of course the groupings being that are very, very close when it comes to our championship. And for Luca D'Amelio, who is currently in contention for the championship, only going to be starting in 11th place. He's 3rd, just 8 points off championship leader Jordi's Veers, who's going to be starting this race from 3rd, about ready to get underway for our opening race of the evening. 15 minutes ahead of us as always. The format remains the same, 15 minutes sprint race, then the top 10 reverse their way into a 45-minute feature. I'll very quickly discuss with you the standing so that we're up to date and aware as to what's going on as we look at the points of interest of this brand new circuit in rFactor 2, and what a tricky place it is to go racing. Everyone will be on the edge of their seat, I am sure,
as I explained
in the cars.
In the actual email to you guys, you should do 150 kilometers an hour until sector 3, then slow down and go on pit limiter. So 150, please.
There we go, Jimmy Allison, as always, interrupting the broadcast. Thank you. Of course, just giving his directions to the grid. We've got, because it's such a long lap, they're not limited to just 80, although we've already had a crash on the formation. I think we may have to see a little bit of a reset. Not sure what happened there, but in-game, Juan Carlos Fernandez just had a couple of issues into La Source, so we'll hold fire on that one. Not too sure myself. Let's talk through the standings, though, Aidan, before we get to the grid. Jordi's Veers currently leading by 8 points from Smedel and D'Amelio. Everything's super tight at the top end.
Yeah, very, very tight. It can all change at this race, as we saw Yuri Kazdorp wiping out in spectacular fashion last week. Took out a couple of his teammates. Didn't take out Erhan Yovski though. He managed to get through all of that carnage to go on to win the title. But I think Jonas Rabiot was caught up in all of that, and that actually lost him positions in the championship. So he wasn't very
Khan coming through.
Wasn't very happy with that. But these things happen.
Up into his position.
Yeah, we saw in BTCC a couple of years ago, in Dan Kamish overheated his brakes and crashed and lost the title there. So when the title is this close, it just makes everything that more exciting.
Especially with a circuit like this. It's currently dry, but we are expecting rain. It was 85 to 90% the chance of precipitation throughout the second race, and I think we might see that one a little bit later. Of course, we saw a damp race 1 back in Indianapolis and a very wet race 2. You can see them coming down towards Pouhon in single file. You'll see Ibrahim Khan, who's just trying to get himself back up into position. He was one of the drivers involved in a bizarre incident at T1. I'm not actually 100% sure as to what happened, but let's take a look then at our starting order. It'll be Mikael Smeedel and Ibrahim Khan on the front row once he's gone back through, with Jordi Sveers and Matt Richards alongside in the second row. Jordi Sveers looking for his championship, our current championship leader, by 8 points. Turka Hakkinen, a fantastic qualifying session, up in 5th place ahead of Timotej Andonovski. Matthew Williams, hopefully for some better luck this round, and Alan Terzic, who only started practicing realistically not too long ago, qualifies in 8th place. Louis-Philippe Capamajam with Juan Carlos Fernandez 9th and 10th, the battle of the three namers at the back end of that top 10. Luca D'Amelio battling for that championship, starting in 11th place, needs to do better than that, with David Serra in behind. Jorgen Adev and Ilias Fernandez 13th and 14th, with Moritz Mel and Casper Stolzer for Jean Lacey Esports in that 16th place. They're going side by side now, all lining up, getting ready to go for the race. Arjen Veltens and Nick Jacobs makes Scuderia Leone a 9th row lockout, with Giancarlo Velarde and Donat Prodan in 19th and 20th place. Just 3 more drivers on the grid as Paul August Lana and Dan Kell line up on the penultimate row of the grid. Andrea Terzi for the Porsche of Waveframe Esports going to be lining up at the back end. Aidan, it is becoming very, very tense now. We have a championship to sort out, and there is a long way to go this evening.
Yeah, and it could all go horribly wrong at La Source on lap 1. Or even into Eau Rouge and Radion. Two of the most notorious corners in the whole of motor racing within half a mile of each other. It's going to be fantastic to watch. If anyone gets a cutback out of Eau Rouge, there's that downhill run. I think in these cars as well, with that slight lift, it's almost flat out from turn 1 to turn 5 as the race is about to get underway as they come out the final corner.
Yep, here we go. It is now in the hands of Mikael Smeedel, as it's been so many times this season. Jordi Sveers right in behind him. We are underway for the finale of the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO, with Jordi Sveers on the inside of Ibrahim Khan, trying to get up into second place already, running into La Source. There's a little bit of contact between the two, as Matt Richards is also pinching off Timotej Andonovski, running down the hill then out of La Source. We're seeing them go wide into the background. Now get your slipstream hats on, ladies and gentlemen, because here we go. Eau Rouge into Radion. Fantastic camera work as we're seeing some side-by-side in the background, dropping back into line the 2 DX Droids drivers in further back. Smeedel currently leading on board with Louis-Philippe Capamajam, as Luca D'Amelio is already trying to work his way up the order, getting by Juan Carlos Fernandez. There's no contact between the two. Louis-Philippe Capamajam is going to make it 3 wide. Jordi Sveers is going for the race lead as well at the front end of the field. There's near contact between the two. Jordi Sveers for the championship lead, going around the outside of Smeedel. They're still side-by-side at the front end of the grid. Ibrahim Khan a part of this. Beautiful comeback from Jordi Sveers. Not able to do anything. Mikael Smeedel's going to hang on a 10th clear at the top end of the field, and Ibrahim Khan, after that race victory in the sprint race at Indianapolis, is looking to try and go back-to-back sprint race victories here. Smeedel leading the way from Sveers, Khan and Andonovski ahead of Richards.
It was so clean over those first few corners. Nobody wiped out Eau Rouge. Nobody got smashed off at the Source. Everything is still nice and clean, as we're about to get a replay here of the Ferrari just sending it round the outside into Les Combes here. It's called Les Combes because he needs to drive like a hairdresser sometimes, but he just can't get that power down enough. Tries to switch back through the right-hander down towards Rivage, but Mikael Smeedel still in the lead here.
I think he just maybe mistimed it a little bit on that cutback through Malmedy as they ran down the hill. It wasn't quite enough. 1 second is the lead now. He's pulled it out, Mikael Smeedel, in that middle sector. He was desperate to do so and doing everything that he needs to do. The power of the Ferrari hopefully will close that in. And then with the slipstream on the run into Les Combes once again, who knows what will happen. Arjen Veltens at the back end of this humongous train. It's still very much going down towards the back end of the field, trying to get through on Fernandez. They're side by side up ahead as Matthew Williams and Alan Terzic have gone side by side through Blanchimont, and Terzic is going straight off. This is the battle for 6th place. Terzic on the rejoin. We're going to get a replay of that one, I'm sure. Alan Terzic and Matthew Williams, though, side by side. There was contact between the two. Terzic just marching his way back up the order. From 8th place he started, now up into 6th. Going to try and assist his teammate at the front end of the field. Smeedle, fastest lap of the race. Oh, we've got some contact in the background. We've got massive contact. There's 2 DX Droids drivers off. This is Nürburgring Eat Your Heart Out as they come together in the background. What has happened here?
This is a car rejoining at the back. That's David Serra. We'll probably see what happened. Maybe just got a tap on the rear quarter panel to spin him round, but he's driving a bit slowly here. Or is he just breaking into the source with nobody around him? He just looks slow.
Sorry, battle for second place. Here we go. Ibrahim Khan is trying to get up into second place on Jordi Veers. Jordi Veers made that move on the opening lap, tried to challenge for the race lead, and now he might be dropped down into 3rd, going around the outside. There's contact from the man who's picked up 3 penalties back in Indianapolis. Not too sure who's to blame in that one. I think Ibrahim Khan maybe came across the Dutchman there just a little bit. We'll have to take a look at it. I'm sure the replays are building up, and Ruben is just rolling his eyes at the things he needs to look at. Ibrahim Khan up into 2nd position. Here's the first replay. Talk us through it, Aidan.
Right, so Alan Terzic is going to try and Max Verstappen it around the outside of Blanchimont. A little bit of contact, force wide, so they're both going to pick up a cut track for that, which is pretty easy to pick up here. And then David Serra also biffing someone onto the... that's one of the Go Team Racing BMWs there. And then I think he probably just gets a tap on the quarter panel from his own teammate, maybe, or does he just drop it on the power? He drops it on the power and gets punted by his own teammate and gets another smack up the rear end for good measure. Not ideal, is how we can describe that one. I'm not sure which one it was. It might have been Moritz Mel down the order for Go Team. Of course, there's 2 of those Go Team BMWs in this, with Georgi Nadev as well, was up in 11th place at the moment. Our focus on Timotej Antonovsky, the winner, back Nürburgring, already a race winner this season, behind 3 people who have already won races this season. In fact, actually, the top 6 have all won races this season. Smeedle, Khan, Zveers, Antonovsky, Richards and Terzic. The powerful top 6 then of Matthew Williams to try and get himself involved in all of that. We're on board with Juan Carlos Fernandez on the back of Louis-Philippe Capmajan. These 2 have stuck together in that 9th and 10th place as they battle their way up the order. You've got Luca D'Amelio, who's now dropped down to 12th place. I'm sure he moved up inside the top 10 and now has dropped back down outside of it. Of course, he is battling for the championship. Now, if he can get to 10th, remember that 10th is the reverse grid spot. And how important was that for Matt Richards last time out, where he had the issues in race 1, got back into 10th place on the final lap, courtesy of a penalty from Ilias Fernandez, and moved him up to the front end of the grid. And that pole position could be absolutely crucial. Maybe less so here than normal, because you can actually race around the circuit, but look at Smeedle now. He's 2.1 seconds clear. He is running away with things. Yeah, that's a Smeedle special. Up front is David Serra. That car is crabbing. He's going to be sat there probably until the end of this race. So yeah, it's the endurance pits as well. Yeah, so he's probably going to spend as long driving out of the pits as he's going to be stationary. It is a long pit lane here at Spa, using the endurance pit lane. Courtesy of the amount of cars that we've got here, just to make sure that everyone's got a grid box to themselves, as is required here, because as much as we all do have teams and stuff, you don't really want to be sharing the same booth, as we saw some issues in GT Pro. Those issues solved here. Luca D'Amelio in 12th place, as we've said, trying to get himself back inside the top 10. And directly behind him, one of his teammates, which is Kasper Stolzer, could do Jordi Zveers a massive favour here, because if Kasper Stolzer gets ahead of Luca D'Amelio and basically stops Luca D'Amelio from getting inside the top 10, it'll really help Jordi in the championship, because as much as Jordi's focus goes the way of Mikkel Smeedle, who would arguably be the favourite, if you can remove one driver from that whole thing, it would help enormously with the focus, because then you only have to focus on one driver, realistically. On board with Matthew Williams on the back of Alan Terzic. How would you make a move around here then, Aidan? Well, from there, you wouldn't. You've got to get as close as you can through Blanchimont, and it's just so difficult with dirty air and things like that. As Luca D'Amelio sent it up the inside of Georgi Nadev. He's going to have the outside line for a bit of a... Was that a clutch kick? But he's managed to drift his way into 11th. But it could easily come back to bite him in the second phase of this run outside of La Source down to Eau Rouge and Radion. A few bent panels on that Corvette in a minute.
Yeah, Kasper Stolzer also trying to get involved with that. He didn't get by Jorgen Dev, and the run down the hill. We've got the three namers almost going side by side ahead of all of this, as Louis-Philippe Capamajana and Juan Carlos Fernandez were battling for ninth position on board with Kasper Stolzer in that slipstream of the BMW. This could be bad for Luca Di Meglio. This could spell trouble for him into the slipstream, the BMW of the Callaway. And here comes Kasper Stolzer in that Ferrari. Slight defensive move from Luca Di Meglio. It's not going to be enough, though. The power, the slipstream of that Ferrari going to be enough to send him all the way around the outside into Lake Com, and it is done. Kasper Stolzer has got ahead of Luca Di Meglio again. How much could that work in the favour of Jordi Spears, just stopping the Italian from getting inside the top 10? We've seen some issues from Kasper Stolzer this season, and hopefully will be doing himself proud and doing his team proud for Jean Lacey Esports. Of course, there are a few splits coming in that camp after today's race. Mohamed Patel, who's no longer racing this evening, is departing for BS competition, as is Alan Terzic. And I know that Alan in this is vying for one thing, and that is to try and get his teammate and good friend Jordi Spears a championship. It's like a lot of work. Talk us through this, Aidan.
All right, so Jakob's coming up to the bus stop here. Hard on the brakes. There's a bit of biffing and boffing. And, yeah, bye-bye Corvette. And hello, free positions.
Always love a good freebie. It's DDF racing. He loves freebie. He loves saying it. He'll always say it on the broadcast. As soon as something's gone wrong, Daniel Dufini will always be like freebie. So that's what I always shout. I'm channeling my inner DDF racer when I'm throwing it around. Jordi Spears under pressure then from the Macedonian. Oh, see you, Matt. That left foot is starting to struggle. Of course, said it earlier in the broadcast, Matt Richards with issues to his left ankle. Obviously, the foot that you brake with, having a bit of issues with that. That is definitely crippling him to some degree here, whether it's through his pace. Although, speaking of being crippled, Jordi Spears running straight on La Source, getting into the slipstream now of Timotei Andonovski. I think that was just a mistake by himself, but I don't think it will cost him too much. Let's take a look at the replay, Aidan.
So, Richards... the car just didn't stop.
I think
they didn't lose anything from it.
A double action of braking a little bit too late and braking a little bit on the curb. Let's see how long it takes Jordi Spears to get back ahead of Timotei Andonovski, and that is your answer. Not long. Maybe it was a tactical move from Jordi Spears, because it's almost like DRS, isn't it? So dropping in behind to effectively get the DRS on the straight. Oh, here we go. We've got the battle between Philippe Capamajana and Carlos Fernandez, as they're dicing their way over through Malmedy around the outside for Juan Carlos Fernandez. Fantastic stuff around the outside of Louis-Philippe Capamajana, who's been in trouble a couple of times himself this season. Capamajana, of course, on probation after the second round at Portland. Done himself justice by cleaning himself up, same with Mikael Smedel. And the two of them have been moderately good boys ever since, I'd say. I don't know what your opinion is on that.
Oh, well, they haven't been put on probation again, have they? So
it's a good sign. Do you think they'd be put on probation again, or do you think Jimmy just ban him?
I think Jimmy was just ban him.
Yeah.
This is Jimmy Allison we're talking about.
Yeah, he doesn't take rubbish from anyone. I wouldn't either, to be fair. No, I would. I do. I frequently take rubbish from people. It's terrible. It's a massive affliction. Here's the battle for third place continuing. Ibrahim Khan doing a fantastic job as well. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I'll say it properly anyway. A full-time signer to the Zancho SimSport group now, I believe. Obviously, this season he's driven for Zancho SimSport, but sort of sat in the middle between Zancho and Team Rookie Monsters now. Looking to sign that one off and become a full member of Zancho. That was incredibly close from Andonovski, just breaking it a little bit wrong, same as Matt Richards did in the previous lap. This is definitely becoming a train here, as Jordi Spears defending from Andonovski, Richards, Terzic, Williams and Hakkinen, all part of this train. A bit of a gap between them and ninth place Juan Carlos Fernandez, as Kasper Stolz has got himself up into top 10, running wide again, Jordi Spears. I'm assuming this is tactical. Talk us through the replay, Aidan.
Right, so this is going through Radion. Oh, Twitchy and F's in chat. Oh, no, he saved it.
Oh, Jordi just had a bit of a moment there through Eau Rouge and up towards Radion as well.
So did Terzic.
They're pushing their limit. He dropped back in behind Andonovski at La Source once again. I think it is a tactical move. as Jordi Zviers once again retakes the podium. He's just trying to play it a little bit smart here. Rather than getting overtaken and having someone pull away in the central part of the lap, he's trying to do himself to just hang on to third place at the moment, which would be good for him. Casper Stolzer and Louis-Philippe Capamajane have been battling it out for 11th place, 10th and 11th place, as Capamajane's desperately trying to hang on to that reverse grid pole position. Again, how important it would be for Luca De Meli if there's an instant between these two that promotes the Italian up into 10th place and into that reverse grid. Talk us through the replay, Aidan.
Right, so Andonovski's coming up behind Stolzer into the source. Thinks, ooh, he's making more mistakes. But then it's just the run downhill. That Ferrari's just got so many, so many prancing horses under the bonnet. It's just blowing past him on the straights. As Matt Richards is now getting close to Andonovski.
Yeah, it'd be good for Richards to get a couple of moves here, try and close himself up to Ibrahim Khan's teammate, who's currently running in 5th position in the championship. And how desperately Matt Richards wants to promote himself into that top 5, so he doesn't have to go through the relegation. It's going to be a bit of work for him, though, with that busted ankle. On board with Matthew Williams, with Turka Hakkinen and Alan Terzic, who's dropped back a little bit. As Terzic, we saw him in 6th place. He's now dropped back into 8th. At the moment, as things stand, a minute left to go in the sprint race. We'll get another lap after this one once they cross the line. We're on board with Williams. I think he won't be able to make a move on the fin of Turka Hakkinen. The championship at the moment, it is 4 points separating Jordi Zviers and Mikael Smedel heading into the final race of the season. And boy, oh boy, how exciting is that? We are going to see a fantastic finale. The two Go Team drivers then on the back of Luca De Meli in this battle for that 10th place, as they are all trying to work their way up the order. Jordi Zviers once again doing his tactic of dropping in behind Timotej Andonovski to pick up the slipstream. It's the final lap, and Matt Richards as well is very much a part of that podium battle. You can see the damage on the top end of Jordi Zviers' Ferrari for Jean Alesi Esports Academy. This will be an important move if he can get himself back onto the podium. Bit of a snap there. Oh my goodness me. That was a mighty snap in the slipstream of the Pinsim Drillers Esports driver of Timotej Andonovski.
He's just coming back anyway.
To Lecom. Yeah, here comes the slipstream. There we go to the inside. Andonovski's not even able to fight it, and the Ferrari man goes back up into 3rd. Matt Richards isn't quite able to be a part of this. Going for the cutback is Andonovski, but there's nothing there. A penalty on the final lap of the race. Back-to-back times for Elias Fernandez. He's a little bit further down the order, though, as Matthew Williams and Turka Hakkinen are battling it out for 6th place. Williams has done it and is up into 6th place, now defending the inside from the fin, as Alan Terzic as well as getting a part of this. Yellow flag out in sector 2. Not sure who that's for. I think it's a little bit further down the order, as Terzic and Hakkinen are going side by side. These two were teammates in the 24-hour of Le Mans in the Virtual Endurance Championship, as Philippe Capamajane and Stolzer have come together, and it's promoted Luca De Meli into 10th place. This is massive. Oh my goodness me. The three-way fight is back on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness.
That's 2 Flukes for Zancho drivers in as many race weekends. It's all kicking off in the final. Well, the race time has expired, but Richards up the back of Andonovski. If he can get a decent run out of Stavolo towards the bus stop, he can easily get into 4th as... he's just kept it out the wall. Oh, we didn't get to the end of that.
I think he went.
I think that ended up with an F. So let's see what happens through. They've just come through Paul Ferrer and Stavolo, that little section now up towards Blanchimont.
Well,
and here's
here we
Smedel.
go. Yeah, indeed, on board with Mikael Smedel, and I think normal service has been resumed in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO, is departing the final chicane from pole position to yet another victory. It's his 5th sprint race victory of the season. Vargason Racing's Mikael Smedel back on top, as Matt Richards and Andonovski are battling it out over 4th place, but I believe it is going to be 4th place goes the way of Andonovski. Ibrahim Khan 2nd, Jordi Zviers 3rd, Andonovski and Richards round out the top 5. Matthew Williams was able to get himself into 6th place and hold it from Turka Hakkinen. Alan Terzic wasn't able to do anything. Juan Carlos Fernandez in 9th place and 3rd in the championship, going to be finishing in 10th place. Here's the contact between Louis-Philippe Capamajane and Casper Stolzer. What does Stolzer do? Oh, that's naughty.
Dear. Oh,
that's
Archie.
naughty. And also, that's really not done his teammate any favours, because by doing that, he's just promoted Luca De Meli back into the top 10.
And Luca De Meli will be on pole for the feature race. And Terzic will be 3rd starting that race. So there'll still be a Jean Alesi car in the mix, but still it's going to be one hell of a comeback drive for him. He's just come back across his contact.
That's naughty. That is naughty. It wasn't intentional. It was not intentional, I don't think. But he caught the bounce coming back on, which he should have known because of the massive curb there. But that is very naughty from Kasper Stolzer. It's another thing we've seen from Kasper this season. It's been a little bit of a slap on the wrist, as we've seen from a few drivers in the GT Challenge Series. So, I won't bash him too hard on that one. Here's the finishing order provisionally for the sprint race here. Mikael Smeedel on pole position, winning the race rather, from Ibrahim Khan and Jordi Veers. This top 10, reverse it, and you've got your grid order for the second race. Antonovsky and Richards, Williams, Hakkinen, Terzic, and Juan Carlos Fernandez in 9th place. And Luca Di Melio going to be reversed up into pole position. How important that could be for the Italian. If he can stay out of trouble, the championship is not out of reach for Di Melio. It really, really isn't. That main race, 45 minutes. And let's just be honest here, Aidan. We're expecting some rain.
We are. We don't know when it's coming. Jimmy hasn't said when it's coming, so we haven't been able to tell.
The weather god himself, Jimmy Allison.
Weather god himself. So we haven't been able to tell Ibrahim or Luca or Matt when it's coming.
Yeah, we're not trusted.
We can't be trusted with that. I think some of these drivers are going to assume it's going to rain at exactly the same time as it did last week. I don't think it will.
I don't know either. Jorgen Adev finished in 11th place, just outside of that top 10. It could have been very, very good for Go Team if they'd have locked out that front row. The rest of the year finishing order will be coming through. The weird thing is Ilias Fernandez is in 14th, who I think got moved down courtesy of the penalty arriving late. That's why he's sort of still up there, but he actually finished in 19th place in the end, not 14th. So that's why there's a bit of a number crunching happening there between 14th and 18th. I'm not too sure what happened with the weather, but we were having this discussion prior to it. Now, the thing is, when it comes to pitting around here, is that you're going to lose a monumental time if you come in and pit. Because the thing is if it rains and you come in and you pit, you go from slicks to wets. Now, in GT Pro, it took a long time, right?
It took a very long time.
In GT Challenge, we're running the endurance pit lane. So it's the one that comes around, goes through La Source on the inside, runs all the way down the hill, and then back up. Now, this causes problems for two reasons. Number one, it's a really long pit lane. Number two, if anyone was watching the WTF1 Spa Invitational event when this track was brand new a few weeks ago, we noted issues where drivers were speeding in the pit lane coming down the hill, because normally when you're in the pit lane, you tend to pick a high gear, use a little bit less fuel, and also because it makes the car maybe sound a little bit better, it's less of a high pitch, I don't know. There's some science behind it, maybe a bit less fuel, but really it's super minor. I think people just do it because it's cool. The thing is, though, is that you need to be in a lower gear for the pit limiter to activate coming downhill effectively, because if you come downhill with the pit limiter activated in 6th gear, you aren't building up enough revs to limit the speed to effectively stop the car. Over. Exactly. And so people will speed in pit lane. Now, that will ruin your race, big style.
Especially, because a drive through, what's the pit lane limit? It's 40 miles an hour, isn't it? Or 60 kilometers an hour. So just that in itself is going to take you at least a minute to get from one end of the pit lane to the other.
I think we're in for a barnstorming final race here.
It's going to be great.
To give you a little update as to what's happened in the championship, I don't know if Alex Siebel has updated our little spreadsheet, but I've got another one here anyway, just in case. He has. Oh, good boy. He's very fast, isn't he? It is indeed 4 points between Jordi Veers and Mikael Smeedel at the top of the championship. 690 points for Jordi Veers, 686 for Smeedel. And then Luca Di Melio, who is being reversed onto that pole position, is 18 points down. Now, it's 35 points for a victory, so it's possible, but you'd still need a bad race from the likes of Smeedel and Zviers if Di Melio is going to win this. The top 5 of the championship being Zviers, Smeedel, Di Melio, Alan Terzic, and Ibrahim Khan. I don't think that will change because they're 16 points clear of Matt Richards, who's currently in 6th place. I don't think the top 5 will change. I think those top 5 will remain. We'll obviously have to take a look when the race is finalised. And then the rest of the drivers inside the top 10, Matt Richards, David Serra, Matthew Williams, Timotei Andonovski and Kasper Stolzer. Those are the drivers that are all heading into the relegation playoff race, the battles between 6th and 10th. But Louis-Philippe Capamajan is now only a single point behind Kasper Stolzer in all of that. Aidan, we are poised for a fantastic final race.
Yeah, and it could just take one of those. I mean, if Ibrahim Khan drops off the track and Matt Richards gets a decent finish, that 16 points can be overhauled pretty easily. And then it'll be Matt Richards in that 5th spot to go up automatically as opposed to going into a playoff. So yeah, strap yourselves in. It's going to be a phenomenal 45 minutes, especially with that rain coming in. And we don't know where it's going.
And it's going to cause some large issues when it comes to Eau Rouge, Radion. It's a very tricky section at the best of times, especially battling with people. But in the wet, it just doubles down on its difficulty. We're about ready to get underway for the final race of the season. The main race here at Spa, round 6 of 6 in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO, live here on the race. And we have a championship to settle. Who's going to be coming out on top? 4 points separating the top 2 in it. Realistically, 5 drivers are still up for the championship. It's still technically possible. It's between Zviers, Smedel, D'Amelio, Alan Terzic, and Ibrahim Khan, the top 5 that are looking to book their place in GT Pro, the 3rd season of it. Of course, after this, the season is technically done, but we've still got those playoff races when it comes to the 1st of February to decide which other 5 drivers will be joining the GT Pro grid for season 3, which should begin in March. Boy, oh boy, I don't know. Words escape me on this one, Aidan. I think I think there's something looming on the horizon that's going to really throw something up in the air with this race.
I'm hoping we don't have a Brazil 2008 moment where it happens at the last corner or something like that. But it's going to be a case of best driver wins, I think.
So many stories to talk over in the final round here. Of course, Luca D'Amelio, part of Zan's show. There's been a little bit of issues behind the scenes in that camp with D'Amelio. Hopefully he stays on and, hopefully he can do it in the best way possible. Alan Terzic, we already know he's departing Jean Alesi Esports Academy. He's going to be starting this race from 3rd. And that departure off to BS competition, he seems to have enjoyed the move. He's already started that move, what would, I guess, effectively in the real world be classified as gardener leave or whatever it was called. He's off, already starting his duties for BS competition and ready to depart the Jean Alesi Esports Academy. I think for him, it's been a long road because he's raced with these drivers when it was Singularity and obviously a few of them in Hydra, and then moving over to Jean Alesi. He's now officially departed those friends and stuff that he's been with. But I think it's about time that we take a look at the grid for this final race. And I think, Aidan, we're in for an absolute treat. Although we're getting a restart, so it's fine. Never mind. Ignore that one. I was going to really build up into that, but it's a solid no out of 10 from me.
What happened there?
Oh, God knows. That'll only come from our race director, where we get our information.
I think we've just had it.
Oh, fantastic! We're just having a couple of technical. I mean, this just adds to it, Aidan. This just really adds to it. Having a couple of gremlins.
It's scripted tension.
Oh my goodness! This is simply unacceptable. All right, got our race producer, Jimmy Allison. There we go. Coming in to drop us a little bit of information. There we go. So it's down to the broadcast side. It's our fault now, Aidan. Terrible.
It's always our fault.
Anything that happens is our fault. 9 times out of 10.
We just sit here and say words. I haven't DDoSed anybody.
Okay, now here's the thing, though, is obviously, and we every time we have a delay, we speak about the same thing, but it is relevant. So if you've heard it 117 times, sorry, but tough. You're going to hear it again. How does this affect the driver's mindset when it comes to this? Because you're getting ready for a final. You've already done part of the formation app, which is almost part of like you're getting ready for the race. You've now had that preparation ripped from you, and you start again. How's that going to affect the mentality heading into the final race for season?
I think some words were said. I think the second of which being sake, because they're getting ready. They want to go. They want to get on with it, and things like that. And it's just like, I've got a delay now, and I need to be going. I need to go. That's probably what they've been saying, I think
some drivers are affected by it, others not so much. Of course, for those of you that know, motorsport, we're a superstitious bunch. Be it from sim races or drivers in the real world. Drivers in the real world will enter a car from a certain side. Less so in GTs; it's a bit more difficult. But from
I'd like to see
Wheeler's stuff, yeah. I'm sure we can get a few. Go on, enter the car on the other side. Off you go,
Dennis.
We're a superstitious bunch. Now, some drivers less so than others, and I think those that are quite superstitious when it comes to the start of a race and are very much sort of like, I want to stay in my method, will be very deeply, not deeply. That's really the wrong word. They'll be affected by this. Whereas there are some drivers, like I'm just gonna name drop Alan, who doesn't really care. I think he's going to take this really well in a sense and just be like, okay, I'm just going to brush this off and just get ready. I think Luke D'Amelio is also in that same boat as well, of just taking it well, just brushing it off and just moving on. How Smeedle and Jordi Zveers are going to take this down the back end of the top 10, that could be interesting.
Yeah, because Zveers will want to get up as quickly as possible, won't he? He'll want to be in front of Alan Terzic, will most likely just move over for him, but then he's got to get past Fernandez and he's got to get past D'Amelio, assuming that they're still there when he gets there. And there's, the guys at the back are probably just going to be like, hurry up. Kasper Stolzer, he'll be wanting to get on with it because he wants to get as far up as well to try and help. But yeah, it's just going to be, we've got that and the rain and everything else.
Yes.
I'm going to be loving this by the end.
Well, what we've got 3 John Lacey Esports drivers here, all effectively to help. They'll all be here to help Jordi Zveers. We've only got one Mikko Smeedle, one driver from Varga. Here's the grid then for the final race of the season. Luca D'Amelio for Zancho starting on pole position ahead of Juan Carlos Fernandez, Alan Terzic and Turkka Häkkinen. What a fantastic second row that could be. Matthew Williams with a bit more luck towards the end of it, finished in 6th place, now starts from 5th alongside the other Matt Richards, 6th place for him. Timotej Adanovski and Jordi Zveers, our championship leader, starting the final race of the season from 8th. Ibrahim Khan and Mikhail Smeedle start 9th and 10th, and that's the grid that has been reversed. The rest of them all finishing where they are starting. Jorgen Adeb and Moritz Mel 11th and 12th position. The rest of the grid, Nick Jacobs, Donat Prodan, Dan Kell up to 15th place in the end of all of that, and Kasper Stolzer dropped down to 16th on that final lap, courtesy of the incident between himself and Louis-Philippe Capamajan. Andrea Terzi, 17th place, and then Giancarlo Velarde, Ilias Fernandez and Paul Auguste Lana starts on the 10th row of the grid. The final 3 drivers on that grid, Arjan Veltins, Louis-Philippe Capamajan and David Serra down the order. Aidan, 45 minutes, rain on the horizon. If I'm Luca D'Amelio, how do you play the start of this race? Because we saw the play at La Source from Jordi Zveers of dropping in behind to get into the slipstream to try and break it. For D'Amelio, you're surely thinking that he has got to break the pack in the second sector and try and get far enough ahead.
Yeah, that would probably be the best thing to do, and then just wait for the rain, I think. But he's quick enough. He probably can pull away from Juan Carlos Fernandez. I'm not knocking his talent level, but Alan Terzic is definitely quicker than Fernandez. Häkkinen might get up into the podium spots by the end, but it's between... We're going to be watching D'Amelio, Zveers and Smeedle most in this race, I think, because they're the 3 that can really shake things up. Yeah,
sorry for everyone who's sat there thinking, where's my boy? We've got this championship fight to focus on. Of course, we've also got the top 5 to focus on, although whilst I think there's a decent gap there, I almost think as long as nothing goes wrong for those top 5 drivers, there's nothing too wrong anyway, that they should be all right to hang on to those top 5 positions. We now get ready to line up side by side back down to 80k as the grid forms on this back stretch. They were allowed to run at 150k around the back end of the circuit to try and get us around here before we enter 2022. So we're up to 150k. We're back down to the standard 80. And then once we come out of that final corner, Aidan, the final race of Season 2 will be underway.
It's so tense. My heart rate's going through the roof at the minute.
Sounds like it.
It's, I think that's just running over the curbs. It could all go wrong at turn 1. It could go wrong at Eau Rouge and Rally. It could go wrong at any point around this track. It's like a smaller Nordschleifer. It bites, and when it does, especially with some of these high-speed sections, if you're in a wall, that's it. Your race is done. So I don't want anything bad to happen in this race. I want it to end cleanly and have the best finish to Season 2 we can.
let's hopefully get the best race to end our season. We'll have to wait and see. D'Amelio departing through the final corner. I think he might have already gone. No, he hasn't. He's still holding it back up. Alan Terzic is dropping it back in line. Yeah, I was going to say out of the chicane, he should already do so. Crossing the line, though, getting ready to start. 45 minutes on the clock. We are about to get underway for the final race of the second season of the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO, led across the line by Luca D'Amelio. Alan Terzic has already got up into second position as Matt Richards is trying to mount a challenge to get himself inside the top 5. Jordi's V is already marching up. The order is now coming down the hill side by side with Matthew Williams looking to try and get himself up inside the top 6 already, and he's done so. Fantastic stuff from him. Now the slipstream battle happens. We're looking backwards from Luca D'Amelio, and look at that speed from the Ferrari man of Alan Terzic. Here he is into the slipstream. He's already dethroned Luca D'Amelio when it came to that Portland race, and he was victorious there. Heads to the lead already here. Now Juan Carlos Fernandez is being passed by Turka Hakkinen. There's contact between the two of them into Lake Com. Our top 5 at the moment being Alan Terzic, Luca D'Amelio, Juan Carlos Fernandez, Turka Hakkinen, Matt Richards. Now as Timotej Antonovski and Matthew Williams are going side by side down the hill through Malmedy into Rivage. Turka Hakkinen's trying to make that move stick. It might have opened the door as well for Matt Richards ahead of this as well. They're still side by side. Matthew Williams dropped down into 8th place as Antonovski muscles his way up into 7th. The order goes single file through the corner with no name, and we are underway proper.
Yeah, no crashes, all good stuff. Terzic has opened up probably about half a second over D'Amelio. Carlos Fernandez another 6/10 or so further back, so that's fine for those two up the front. Now we're looking on board with this is Matt Richards' car, staring at the back end of Turka Hakkinen's Corvette. See what happens here. See if he's had a couple of painkillers for that foot.
It's Khan on board with at the moment with Smeedle ahead. Smeedle's only 9th place in all this, so he's only got by Ibrahim Khan, whilst Jordi's Veers has already made up a few positions. He's already in 6th place. Only 1 position for Mikael Smeedle. He needs to do more than that because he needs to get ahead and actually beat Jordi's Veers properly here. Being behind him will not matter, although Jordi's about to be overtaken by Timotej Antonovski heading into Blanchimont. Oh, Antonovski had the back out of that one, being squeezed just ahead of this. Our focus on Salzer as he's marching his way back up the order. Started 16th, now 14th, if I remember correctly, he was 16th anyway, on the starting grid. Now into that 14th place, trying to move his way up, trying to help his teammate as we ride on board with Jorgen Adev.
Terzic sets the fastest lap time, and that's all academic at this point because they've only done 1 lap. But that straight line speed of that Ferrari is monumental, and the Ferrari is probably better on its tyres over a long run. But we've got the rain coming, so all of that is just going to be thrown into a lottery bucket in the minute, as the gap is still stabilised at about half a second.
I think the Ferrari, obviously we've spoken before about how the Ferrari drivers have been given us false information this season, and we'll stand by that. I think the Ferrari is a little bit worse on its tyres than the Callaway, but the straight line speed has been sort of negated by how everything is here with the slipstream and stuff as we ride on board with Stolzer. Sorry, if we run up to 6th place, though, Jordi's Veers has been dropped down past Timotej Antonovski at Lake Com. They're going side by side. No, there's going to be contact between the two, and Antonovski's gone. That was a little bit of a pinch there from Jordi's Veers, and that could be massive in the championship. If that is deemed to be on Jordi's Veers' shoulders, that'll be a penalty that could drop him out of it. We'll discuss that another time. We'll need to take a look. I think it was more on Antonovski sort of not really being alongside, but
well, we need to see a replay of that if Ruben can smash huge. That Arky.
That could be absolutely huge. I think the thing is with it though is I think Jordi gave enough room for my taste, but I'm obviously massively biased. It's not true, but
you're wearing your John Lazy shirt, aren't you?
No, I'm not wearing my Zan shirt. I'm gonna tell you that. Because I'm not biased on broadcasts, you see. Let's have a look then. Let's have a look. Oh, I think he gave enough room.
Yeah.
I think he gave enough room.
That's fine.
It was a little bit of a sharper entry because based on the trajectory, I'm not going to say anything other than that. I think he's left enough room. We'll go with that and we'll run away with it and we'll just hope that nothing happens. Matthew Williams then focused on in 7th place, and now there's a gap between Jordi's Veers and the car behind, being about 7/10. As we ride aboard with Smeedle, he's up in 8th place. This move on Matthew Williams could be a little bit desperate. 40 minutes left on the clock, so still plenty of time left for Smeedle to work his way up the order. I think Oh my goodness, that's Jordi
oh.
running wide. That is Jordi running wide. I was about to say he's about to have some sweet relief with no car behind him, but that mistake could be absolutely crucial. Now Matthew Williams on the inside into La Source. We'll see if Jordi's going to try and drop in behind the Callaway. Certainly is going to use the slipstream up towards Lake Com, maybe going for the cutback, but he's got to be careful because who's that behind him? Yes, it is. It is Mikael Smeedel, his main championship rival, and you can't be dropping points to him now, son. You absolutely cannot. Be careful with the slipstream, be careful with the dirty air as they run through Radion. There we go, we're all safe. We can breathe now, it's fine.
You just saw there, Smeedel pulled out of the slipstream just before Eau Rouge, so he didn't get all the dirty air, but they got a good launch onto Kemmel Straight, which he's trying to use now. It's going to be almost 3 wide going into Lake Com. Don't do that. And he's just backed out of it. That didn't go to plan for Mikael Smeedel there.
That was beautifully judged by Jordi Veers because he could have been further. He could have been further over to the right-hand side, but he dropped back into the left just to sort of squeeze the door a little bit and make sure that Smeedel had absolutely nowhere to go. We're going to see a beautiful angle of it here, as you're absolutely right, that Luca D'Amelio is now in 3rd place, dropping down. Let's take a look there, and there we go. This is with Jordi Veers. Just seeing on that replay what you were saying, but yeah, it was super well judged from Jordi. Absolutely perfect. Look, watch this, watch this. He slightly moves left just to cover off Smeedel. That is perfect.
That's how you defend.
Yes.
You don't just slam it into the path of the driver at the last second.
There wasn't really a gap there anyway, but he was just covering off to basically make sure that he's like, Smeedel, mate, let's call it on that one and let's not do that. Very, very smart. Very good stuff. So D'Amelio now down into 3rd place. Our focus on the driver in directly behind him, Matt Richards, who he himself was looking so strong back in Indianapolis. Obviously getting this new computer and new monitors and stuff. Matt Richards having a serious upgrade to his computer and his rig. Less so his body with his ankle playing up. So, not ideal on that side of things. But the computer upgrade seeming to very much help him when it comes to his pace and consistency. Now running at 144 frames per second rather than 60, like muggles. 4th place, though. He's doing very well.
He's gone full esports, hasn't he?
He has gone full esports. I'm sure he's running the game on super low just to try and get every little bit of frame.
That's what he's used to,
power
really, isn't it?
Well, his game looks terrible. If you want to see rFactor 2 looking bad, just see it on Matt's old computer. It was not pretty. I love all the cars looking the same. Alan Terzic, by the way, is now 2.3 seconds clear of the field. He is running away, looking to depart the Jean Lacey Esports Academy in the best way possible. Already winning a race in the season earlier, back in Portland, for the Ferrari. They've done well in the feature races, haven't they?
The Ferrari's been pretty good over the 45-minute stints. Second's Matthew Williams on Jordi. Around the outside of Lake Com. That's brave. He'll have the inside for the second half.
There's
Bit
contact.
of door banging. And then Jordi's just going to be like, out of the way as they go through Malmedy here. Gave him plenty of space on the exit
but here
of the
comes
corner.
Smeedel.
Smeedel wants a way past and he wants it now.
We're on board now with Smeedel as we stare at these two. It's going to be the inside for corner with no name for Matthew Williams. This is great racing between the two of them.
That's
but
fantastic.
I'm sure Jordi's thinking, oh, please no. Oh, what a comeback though from Jordi Veers. Not able to do so. The two kind of came together a little bit there.
That's naughty, Matthew.
As,
Come
then
on.
coming all the way back across is Matthew Williams on the inside now, pinching it through Puon as Mikael Smeedel's also trying to mount a challenge on the Flying Dutchman. Oh, these tense moments for Jordi Veers as the rain is looming in the background. You can see it's getting darker here at Spa. The clouds are coming in and we are getting ready for some potential rain. 85 to 90% chance of rain. Let's take a look at the replay, Aidan.
Right, David Serra into the bus stop. Is he? Oh, okay. Wrong way.
Oh no.
Oh, this is.
Oh, no. That
is
rejoin of the season, son. Rejoin of the season.
Oh, Dan Kell's
my
probably
goodness.
saying a lot of things in Northern right now.
Where's in Northern? Oh my goodness. No, that was a true bravo moment. Right, D'Amelio then defending from Richards. I say defending, he's not. He's just driving his line. I don't think he will defend too much from Matthew Richards, the Welshman in behind. Slipstream then. Oh, bit of a mistake there from Matthew Williams.
Going around? Or was that just the camera? I don't know.
I think it may well have just been the camera. I think Mika Hakkinen is fine. He's up in 5th place. Is Turker doing well? And yes, I did say Mika. Don't worry.
Just to stop people asking it in chat.
Exactly. Is it? It's not.
It's not Mika.
He does drive very well, though. He does like Spa. The thing is, though, with Williams, that mistake in the chicane has really opened the door for Jordi Sveers to once again get part of that. And Jordi will desperately try and get ahead running into Les Combes and again try and break away on the run down the hill through that second sector. Let's have a look at this battle for second place. This one, Carlos Fernandez is defending quite heavily from Luca De Melio. Matt Richards as well as a part of this. De Melio is going to try and go around the outside. Oh, that is lovely as you like, and around there he goes. Luca De Melio back in the second position. This is on board with Mikkel Smeedel on your right hand side as he's going to get through. Oh, Matt Richards is gone. Matt Richards is absolutely gone, sent out of here, and away he goes. That is not great. I'm sure we'll grab a replay of that. There's a flick spin. He's been doing some rallycross recently, so he's used to driving on dirt at the moment, and he'll be down the order. This will be about 18th place once he gets back going again. We'll have to take a look at that with Juan Carlos Fernandez as to whether there was a pinch or whether it was just drifting out of the corner, whether it was contact. Well, definitely contact. But wow, that was a bit of a moment. And in all of that, Jordi Sveers has now been promoted up into 5th place. Mikkel Smeedel has now been promoted up into 6th place as he got by Matthew Williams into Les Combes. We saw that on the right-hand side of your screen. Oh, the drama just keeps on coming. We've not even seen a third of this race gone yet.
Oh, here we go. So this is De Melio going around the outside. Move. And that's Richards in behind having a sniff. So he's through there. Comes across and... Ooh.
Oh, okay, so Juan Carlos Fernandez absolutely wasn't there. And I don't think Matt Richards particularly gave him that much room either. But, yeah. Judge on that where you will. Juan Carlos Fernandez definitely wasn't there, though. That is not an overlap, Sonny Jim. Right. If you're Jordi Sveers, what do you do? What do you do? Because he's going to have to defend hard from Smeedel. Let's have a look then on board with Juan Carlos Fernandez. Let's see what the overlap was like from his angle.
Non-existent.
Non-existent. Yeah, that's not an overlap. Sorry, son. If I was Matt Richards, I would be swearing in Welsh. There we go. We're getting them all out from the Zandshow drivers. Or he was going to put a British flag on the rear wing of his Callaway, so maybe he's trying to be English now. I don't know why he would though. Right, there we go. Trying to break the slipstream of... well, that was Smeedel trying to get out of the slipstream rather than trying to break the slipstream so that he gets the great run on the Kemmel Straight. We head through Radiant, we head through Kemmel Curve, and we're onto the Kemmel Straight now. Defensive Jordi Sveers is going to go quite late, but that's fine. Perfectly in time. Smeedel's going to go to the outside. Is Smeedel going to get ahead? This could be important for the championship. Mikkel Smeedel's not able to do it at Les Combes. Absolutely sent it under the brakes. And Jordi Sveers needed to do that. Hanging on to 5th place, it will be enough. Even if they switch round and they hold positions in their current state, it'll be enough. But for Jordi Sveers, he wants to keep his championship rival behind him for the foreseeable future as well. And also, look who just came through shot in the background. Kasper Stolzer, 8th place. The longer that Jordi Sveers defends, the more that Kasper Stolzer could potentially get himself involved in this battle, and that would really help the Dutchman.
So it's Andonovski down in 22nd, coming through Eau Rouge. Does he get a snap?
Oh, yeah.
And
that's rip. Front left ripped off in that one. I think he was turning a little bit too much for the compression. Wipers are on, lads. Wipers are on. Here we go. The rain is falling here at Spa. We are ready for the finale of the GT Challenge Series, and the rain is coming down on board with Ibrahim Khan. Now, Eau Rouge is going to become so much harder. Oh, my goodness me. Here comes the drama, Aidan.
Yeah, now it's down to the setups. Is that Ferrari running very low downforce or not?
I don't think it is. It's not really seemed to. By the way, P4, Jordi Sveers has got onto the back of Juan Carlos Fernandez, now into the chicane. Not going to make a move just yet, but it could be very, very important for him to do so and get a car between himself and Mikkel Smeedel. We look further back in the pack as the BMW just trying to squeeze of Jorge de Dev with Louis-Philippe Capamajan in behind, who's marching his way up the order. Great drive as well from Donat Prodan as well, up into 13th place. Here's a replay. Talk us through it.
Right, so Mikkel Smeedel into La Source. And it's just down the hill. Pulls out of that slipstream again, just to save on the dirty air. Then gets back into line for the left, then the right. A little bit of a wiggle from both cars.
Whoa, that was a big one from Jordi. That was a big one from Jordi. We're not actually in a replay. It's just the graphic was popping up. I was really panicking there, but it wasn't. So, Capamajan. Oh my God, they've gone 3 wide a little bit here. This is terrifying. Jordi Zviers has got by Juan Carlos Fernandez for that 4th place, and Mikael Smiedel as well. A part of that, there was some definite squeezing. Oh, the rain is coming down very heavily here. I don't know how much you can see it on the broadcast, but in game, the rain is coming down mighty heavily here in the Ardennes. Oh my goodness me. Luca D'Amelio's run a little bit wide, as we see just in the distance there, as he's trying to hold off Turka Hakkinen, Jordi Zviers, Mikael Smiedel and Juan Carlos Fernandez, who we currently ride on board with. The rain coming down heavier and heavier is just going to make this super tricky. Look at the 6-second lead that Alan Terzic has got now. That is massive. We've already got some drivers coming into the pit lane. Oh,
Kel's one of them.
Kel
Sarah's another.
I think it is. I think we're already getting it. If you're going to go onto wets, you need to get on them early. You need to get the advantage of the wet tyres early.
Richards could probably pit now and get back up a little bit, as everybody else is trying to be clever by staying out longer.
Yeah, if I... this is right, so for these two, 4th and 5th, the championship rivals, what do you do? Almost Luca D'Amelio has almost like nothing to lose in this scenario. I'd be like, no, I'm just going to pit and just try and get what I can out of there. Obviously, there'll be communications between himself and Dan Kell, who's already come into the pit lane to sort of discuss what's happening with those tyres if he gets out in time. But for these two that are battling for that championship, they can see each other. Now, Smiedel's in the position where he can react to whatever Jordi does. Jordi can't do that. So if could be in a mindset at the moment of if Jordi pits, I don't. If he does, I do. He can sort of play about with that in his sense. I don't think enough spray's coming off. There is a little bit appearing now as jumping into the pit lane there was which one was that? It was Luca D'Amelio's he did come into the pit lane. Juan Carlos Fernandez has been into the pit lane, and the rest of the field does as well. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah. It's Zviers has stayed out. Hakkinen has stayed out. Smiedel stayed out. Don't overtake there unless you want to die.
I just said that the spray wasn't enough. 2 corners just came. And there is the spray. Yellow flag out in Sector 3. We've already seen someone bin it there. Very, very cautious coming up through Radion. Not sure who the yellow flag is for. I think it might well be Andrea Terzi, who's been round it. It's gone away anyway. And our battle for the championship continues here for 3rd place. Turka Hakkinen coming through the foreground of the shot, currently in 2nd place on this race. We ride on board with Mikael Smiedel, 2nd in the championship, behind our championship leader. You can see everyone in the pit lane departing it now. It's a tricky box to get in because you've got some parts of that apron that are really, really wet and really, really slippery, and other parts of it that are dry where they've been covered by the building. You can sort of just see it there, just sort of darting around, where you've got a little bit of building cover, and there's one part of the pit lane where the building really sticks out and your box is basically dry.
Just that's the challenge of Spa, really, isn't it?
Always.
Oh,
unsafe release. Unsafe release. We don't really have that. I don't know if we've got a rule on unsafe release. I'm sure if there's contact in the pit lane, Jimmy will come down Ardennes. Yeah? Now the real question is where do these drivers come out in comparison to the drivers that are yet to pit? And do these drivers pit this lap? We saw a few drivers leaving it very, very late in GT Pro. Surely everyone is going to come into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Where Luca D'Amelio is going to come out, we'll have to wait and see. At the moment, the 7 drivers yet to stop. Alan Terzic, Turka Hakkinen, Jordi Zviers, Smiedel, Philippe Capamajan, Giancarlo Velarde, and Andrea Terzi. Luca D'Amelio, the top driver that has already stopped, coming out in 8th place. There are your stops on the right-hand side of your leaderboard. Let's see who's already been into the pit lane. Our battle for the championship, as slow as it'll possibly be this evening, unless the rain comes down even heavier and it's too much for the wet tyres.
Knowing Jimmy, that will probably be what happens.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. Turka's gone. Turka Hakkinen's gone. Turka Hakkinen's gone. Alan Terzic has come into the pit lane. Turka Hakkinen has departed the circuit at Blanchimont. Easily on the brakes. Try and get it over to the right-hand side. Oh, don't go side by side in the pit lane. Oof, that was dodgy. That was very, very close. Obviously, I think Jordi just overdid the chicane there. And be careful as well not to speed in pit lane, because it's very easy to do so in the wet. And also, do not miss your box. Mikael Smiedel into his box safely. Jordi Zviers, where's his box going to be? Is it going to be on the downhill bit or on the GP loop? I'm going to be keeping my eye on that as we ride on board with Moritz Mel. This is a tense moment. Coming through the pit lane is Jordi Zviers. He's in the lead of the race at the moment, courtesy of where his box is in comparison with everyone else. Let's watch Turka Hakkinen spin it off at Blanchimont. Talk us through it.
It's just going to lose the rear end here. Too fast. And that's a pirouette that Charles Leclerc would be very proud of.
Jordi Veers hit his marks in his box absolutely fine. So both our championship rivals getting into the box absolutely fine. That's a little bit dodgy, but he did get within the white line, so maybe it's fine. I'd almost just be like, let's just ignore that happened, because that was a little bit tight. And was naturally going to happen as everyone switches their way onto the wet tyres. Alan Terzic is already coming through the pit lane now. Smeedle is coming out. Where's Jordi Veers? He's going to be coming out just... Oh, they're side by side in the exit pit lane. They are side by side. Smeedle and Jordi Veers on the run down towards the hill. I think Smeedle's got to back out of this one with the two of them, as he's the one slightly behind them. Maybe you could argue the precedent of the fast lane, etc., etc. Oh, we're going to be tight on the exit there.
Close.
That is so tight between the two of them. Be careful leaving pit lane. Luca D'Amelio, in comparison to Alan Terzic, where's he come out? He's closed the gap. What was a 7-second lead is now only 2.2 on the run down the Camel Straight. These two have lost a little bit of ground, but not too much. Everything seems all right. Matthew Williams has moved his way up into 4th place. Smeedle already trying to attack Jordi Veers on the run into Les Cons for the first time, as they're trying to figure out what's even going on with these tyres. Oh, look at that. Casper Stolzer as well, a part of this battle. Where did he come from? Now the Jean Lacey Esports Academy is working, and Casper Stolzer absolutely a part of this battle to help his teammate.
This has gone better than good for Casper Stolzer, as he's so close to Mikael Smeedle. He can almost read the part number on the back of that rear wing, but just gets a little bit of a drift and manages to get a good run down the hill towards Jackie X Corner, No Name Speaker's Corner, whatever you want to call it. And then the test of front end grip as they come towards Pouon here.
Or double gauche, or whatever you want to call it. I don't speak... would it be French?
French,
I don't want to offend.
Flemish,
I don't want to
Dutch.
offend anyone. But Ed was telling me. Andrea Terzi. Andrea Terzi, who's still on these slick tyres, by the way. Let's have a look at that. Andrea Terzi is staying out as long as he can on these tyres. Definitely too far, and he's now going to have Jordi Veers down the inside, as he's going to run right off at Stavolo. Not ideal from him. He's going to drop him behind Casper Stolzer, and now getting involved in all of that. Ibrahim Khan is the next one to get delayed. We're riding on board with the Porsche driver. You see Ibrahim Khan come through on the right-hand side of all of this, delaying them all a little bit, just trying to get back into the slipstream and judging it to a millimetre of perfection. Oh, Smeedle and Veers running into Blanchimont in the wet. Jordi Veers is going to hang on, but running way, way wide. The two battling for the championship are fighting hard here at Spa. And we are properly in the thick end of this, halfway through the race here in the final round. Oh, and Stolz has received a bit of a buff there from Ibrahim Khan. Got to be careful, Khan. He's not under probation, but I think he's received a large slap on the wrist from our I don't want to call him race director, because he's like, doesn't like broadcast director. We'll go to race director. Oh, there's contact! Smeedle's round!
What?
Smeedle has gone. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I wonder if that was contact between himself and Casper Stolzer. Smeedle has gone, and the championship goes the way at the moment of Jordi Veers in 4th place. Huge drama here at Spa. And there's Stolzer. He's going to be missing the wall by inches. Oh my goodness.
Sorry for the scream there, if that blew anybody's eardrums out.
Oh my goodness, you're not peaking as bad as you were earlier. Matthew Williams and now Jordi Veers are going side by side, as Jordi Veers has moved his way up into 3rd position into the foreground. This could be a stellar drive from the Flying Dutchman, moving his way forward on the precipice of a championship, and one that he would so dearly love. Oh my goodness me.
Terzi off the road.
High drama. Why is he still out on the slicks, bro? Come on. Matt Richards, 21st and last of the runners. So that pit lane is not happening. Right, let's have a look at Smeedle. I think this is Casper Stolzer.
Does he get a love tap? Yes, he does.
Oh, Stolzer.
Got served up.
It's very difficult to break for T1, but that could very well have removed what was a mad championship.
But then he almost loses it here. It's just... Was it him or was it someone else? It was one of the Flores, wasn't it?
It was Stolzer.
This
is the move. There's Stolzer.
There it is.
And this is how Jordi got by as well. He's just a slipstream on the camel. Oh, the drama is coming thick and fast as Andrea Terzi is about to be passed by yet another load of the GT Challenge contingent. Now in 9th place. Mel was wonder if he was going to try and go around the outside there, but wasn't able to do so, as now it's sort of affecting battles for the top 10. Andrea Terzi, someone needs to get on the blow. He's not required to come into the pit lane, I'll say, so there's nothing against what he's doing, but someone needs to get on the blower from Esports and be like, bro, you need to get
Are you
off
aware
this.
that the track is wet right now?
They're not right. Yeah, can you not see these puddles? There we go, getting through towards Blanchimont. Oh, I would not want to be on the outside of Andrea Terzi into Blanchimont. Oh, I would not want to be on the outside of Andrea Terzi into Blanchimont.
Bye-bye.
See you, mate. Elias Fernandez getting a penalty in the final moments of race 1. Now on the inside of Andrea Terzi, trying to get his way through.
Is he going to pit?
And Smeedle...
He's not.
He's not. Smeedle, though. Smeedle is right there. He's in 12th place, trying to work his way back up the order, Aidan.
I think... I don't know what...
Oh, he started on wets. He is actually on wets.
Well, they're going to be absolutely rinsed.
Yeah, they're going to be done, son. No wonder he's not doing very well. They are going to be like 3,000 degrees. Apparently, yeah, the call is that he started on wets. That's why he's not pitted. I'd say they're definitely slick now regardless. You've worn away the tread pattern on them. They are gone. By the way, from Jordi Spears getting past Matthew Williams, he's gone. He's like 2 seconds clear, or a second and a bit clear. He's absolutely flown away.
Here comes... well, Terzi's going to have a bit of a go into Lacombe here. Nope, maybe not.
I don't blame him. I don't think he's got the grip.
Just pit.
He needs some fresh slicks. Yellow flag out. Elias Fernandez has gone. See ya. That's the yellow flag that's out. Oh, Dan Kell as well. Oh, Dan Keller's crashed at Radion again. He's not doing so well there in a Corvette in recent months. He's very, very fast in Spa Invitational, as we see some side-by-side running down the hill as Donat Prodan was trying to get by Nick Jacobs. 14th place for Jacobs, and then Prodan 15th on board with Jorgen Adev in the BMW, maybe looking down the inside into the corner with no name, but decides better of it. I don't know if Dan Kell hit the barrier at Eau Rouge. He certainly did in the Invitational. But left that one with high hopes because he had some very, very good pace that day.
Yeah, he was keeping up with people like Terzic and Jovski on merit there, so he's
there we
just
go.
Lost it.
And that's very similar to what happened to him in...
Bonk.
Oh, it's a little.
It's a love tap.
It's similar to what happened to him in the Spa Invitational, but in that, when he started sliding, it gripped up left and he went straight into the barrier. It was quite a hefty crash for the young man of the north. Yellow flag out in sector 2. It's Arjun Feltons. Arjun Feltons has gone on the exit of Stavolo. There he is in the background of shot. We're dropping like flies here at Spa. 17 minutes left on the calendar as we're ready to wrap up the season. Whoa. I don't really know what to say. This is Smeedle getting up another position. He was in 11th, and to the easiest way he'll make a move all afternoon, up to 10th place as he's marching his way back up the order. Unfortunately, I think to no avail. I think he's definitely going to struggle to get himself a championship today, with Jordi Spears running in that 3rd place. It was always going to be difficult.
Here's
Because the points margin.
Too much curb.
I think it's too much throttle.
Too much curb and too much throttle, but...
And away he goes. Doing the points is GT Pro driver Mr. Alex Siebel, trying to rush them in as fast as possible, as we watch with Ibrahim Khan. Kasper Stolzer getting through into 5th place on Ibra. Now outside of the top 5. Race winner this season, Ibrahim Khan, obviously in race 1 at Indianapolis, the first race 1, and thus far the only race 1 to not go the way of Mikael Smeedle as the GT Challenge Series has progressed here in that final round. As things stand in the championship at this very moment in time, let's talk you through it. Jordi Spears will be winning the championship. As things stand, 11 points clear of Mikael Smeedle. Luca D'Amelio, Alan Terzic and Ibrahim Khan all remain in their positions inside the top 5. There's the moment from... Oh, that's a big one.
That's a huge one.
Disco. He's gone. The other drivers, though, inside the top 10. Although it's Turka Hackenen's position. Oh, yeah, Turka's been moving his way up the order. He's only a couple of points outside of a potential playoff race position. At the moment, it's Matt Richards, Matthew Williams, Casper Stolzer, David Serra, and Louis-Philippe Capamajan, the drivers inside the top 10. Although with that incident from David Serra, it won't change anything because his points are already put in. But that might change something. Oh, here we go. He's going to he's going to take to the air. Watch this. Where's the sausage curve? Boring.
He's got some air.
Still a little bit. I don't think he quite realised that he's not got a rear wing, but decides then to pit. That's smart. Sorry. That's... Oh, dear. GT Challenge, you have offered up some...
I can't wait for season 3 now. Some
good memories across 2020. Of course, cheering up the world in a not so great year. I think Turkka Häkkinen, someone needs to tell him, by the way, mate, if you start moving up positions, you could get yourself into the top 10 playoff, as he's getting by on Ibrahim Khan and now moves to a point outside of that, and then maybe not. Could be in the slipstream though, could get by Ibrahim Khan. Pace is looking good for Turkka Häkkinen this weekend. The lone Nita Velic's been abandoned by Herman Stocky, who's had issues himself, like personally, and Rory McDuff, I think, has been busy with education. So, prioritising education over sim race, unacceptable. As they're running side by side down the hill.
This is not going to end well.
This is not going to end well. But Turkka Häkkinen, Ibrahim Khan's lifted out of it.
That's a smart idea. Yeah.
Especially after he's in trouble.
He's learned. He's learned.
We're not going to have the round table sitting down with him talking about what he did wrong this round.
We gave him some tough love for that. But
he certainly did.
It's helped.
It's amazing the man's still part of the team. Poor boy. Definitely received the thick end of things in all of that. Oh, damn. Oh, no. Oh, go on.
Oh.
Slide through. The
like
gates
an
have
automatic
opened. Yeah.
He's gone into Asda.
Oh my goodness me. Other shops are available.
Of course.
In the thick end of the spray, we focus down the order. 13th place, Donat Pradan. Find them in the mist. It is tricky to drive. Find them going around the outside as Jorgen Adev is trying to grab himself 13th. So that one might be a touch tricky to do so. Where is Donat Pradan in all of this? He's just stayed ahead, but only just. How good would it be for Jordi Sweers to close in on Lucas Amelia, get a 1-2 for Journal AC Esports Academy? And I said this before, it would be a nice way for Alan Terzic to depart the team, a 1-2 with his teammate. They've got 3 cars inside the top 5 at the moment of Journal AC Esports Academy, in a very fitting way for Terzic to depart the team.
Yeah, it would be nice for him to end on a high and take that momentum towards BS Sim Sport. Is it he's going
BS
to?
Competition.
BS Competition, that's it.
Could get with it. God. Terrible.
I am terrible.
No comment from me.
Mr. Award-winning commentator.
No comment. We're on board with Jorgen Adev in all of that as he's trying to find his way through. The gaps have really split apart, but the closest one as well, as we see running off. By the way, Donat Pradan has gone and handed the position cleanly to Jorgen Adev, who nearly tried to throw it away himself, as Arjen Veltens is also getting involved in all of this. Casper Stolzer and Matthew Williams are very, very close for 4th place on the road. I'll keep us updated on all of that. I don't think Stolzer's close enough to do anything, so we'll keep our eye focused on this battle for 13th place as Nadev heads through Blanchimont. Look at the speed advantage there from Arjen Veltens, maybe looking down the inside into the... Oh! I thought he slid then. I don't know if that was a slider, if that was just the sort of the camera. That was a dive, that was a turn-in, and now this battle for 14th. Oh, a bit more contact between the two. Oh, and then almost a squeeze as well, was trying to get on the power departing the final chicane. It's hard racing out in the wet.
Very.
They've been better here than they were at Indianapolis.
A lot better.
Terrible.
I didn't get the email from Jimmy, so I didn't see...
He didn't rip into anyone too badly. It was very disappointing. I always love a good Jimmy Allison post-race email, or in this case pre-race email, just to really hammer home driving standards and how it's not a such and such touring car of something. They're always well worded. We'll go with that. Here comes Veltens then, going to be easily getting that position. There was near contact as well between Stolzer and Williams as they're battling their way through 4th place. There's the move done from Veltens. Nicely done. Is Donat Pradan going to try and hang it? No, he is not. I think the battle for 4th place is very much raging as Matthew Williams, who's been one of the more unlucky drivers this season. I think we're safe to say. Very few races have gone his way. Now running in fourth place with Stolzer in behind. Stolz has had a couple of issues this race. We'll go with that, obviously, with his incident between Mikkel Smeedel. Don't know how that one will be judged post-race. It's definitely helped his teammate, though, hasn't it?
Has, yeah. For the last thing you want is a championship decided in the steward's office. You want it done on track, but it was... do you decide that that's it's just avoidable contact or not?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it wouldn't change the championship anyway, because Kasper Stolz would be the one receiving the penalty, not Jordi. Jordi's running in third, and that penalty would not move Smeedel magically ahead of Jordi, so it's not going to deal with anything on that. Also, I would say that Kasper Stolz did not make that move with any sort of volition. He wasn't doing it with intent to spin out Smeedel as Williams runs wide. Stolzer comes through. Oh my goodness me, that was close in the exit of Blanchimont. Turka Hakkinen as well as a part of this, and again that could be so important for him getting inside the top 10. I believe he's just a single point outside of it, the Nita Velix driver, and they need some good news at Cetres Nita Velix, and it could be coming the way of the Finn of Turka Hakkinen. Kasper Stolzer then up into fourth place and all of that. Oh my goodness, here we go. It could be very, very crucial in the battle for the top 10 as well. And if we are expecting a penalty for Kasper Stolzer, that could move Turka Hakkinen up regardless. Let's take a look. What are the points? Turka Hakkinen is... Oh, he's a few points behind because Louis-Philippe Kaffmajans moved further up from where he was. So never mind, I'll ignore me. Whoa, look at that slide from Stolzer. Big one.
No death, that's a good thing.
Certainly is. As Jordi's veers about 4 seconds. He is closing the gap to Demelia, but not by enough for anything to change. 8.5 minutes left on the clock of the season. Here comes Turka Hakkinen. Oh, that was a dive and a half. I don't think... Matthew Williams was very early on the brakes there. I'll go with that. I think Turka Hakkinen was braking at the normal point. And Matthew Williams just dropped back right into the clutches of the Finn, firing his way through.
Anti-lock brakes turned it to 11, maybe.
Who knows? Talk us through this replay, though.
All right. So,
no, you don't talk us through this one.
The picture says 1,000 words here.
It was a good moment there from Stolzer. We've seen less incident through there than I would have expected.
Yeah.
I know we were told quite heavily beforehand that we were going to see quite a few incidents into there. I think we've only seen a couple. Obviously, it's a tricky corner at the best of times, as we've said before, but in the wet, Aiden, it's going to make things much, much trickier, as well as everywhere else on the track.
Yeah. You go into there when it's a bit damp, but you think, I can't go flat through here anymore.
Give it a go, though.
No, you'll crash, but...
Yeah, but, go out in style. As Alan Tez is trying to go out in style at the moment, just to part in the rest of the field. It got down to 2 seconds. He's built it back up to 7. The gap that he had. What if it had stayed dry this race? How far ahead would he be right now? Because he has been dominant in this feature race as Terzic. He'll have to get used to driving BMWs though from now on, as BS competition being part of BMWs. He's jumped from Ferraris to BMWs. I guess with how Nita Velix and obviously Singularity, they like their Porsches and then Callaways, and he's jumping manufacturers. I think he's locked in now at BS. He's found his little home.
He'll adapt.
Ilias Fernandez and Donat Pradhan going side by side a little bit through Blanchimont. Space given from the Ferrari driver of Volante Racing. Now on the inside into the chicane, coming into things. Matt Richards on his march back up the order after incidents between himself and it wasn't Ilias Fernandez, it was from Carlos Fernandez. So hopefully he doesn't see Fernandez and just think, oh, I'm going to take this guy out. Not that Matt Richards would ever say that anyway, but all part of the meme, isn't it?
Just report both of them.
You'll do. Well, if Fernandez has anything to go by, maybe he'll pick himself up a penalty on the track anyway, because that's what he's done the last couple of races. Here's Smeedel then defending from Moritz Mel, marching. He's not going to be able to do so, that BMW of Go Team. Now back with Arjun Belton. Hashtag no bias. Jorgen Adev about to be passed by the Callaway driver. Recently joined Split 1, did Arjen Veltons, number 47, promoted after round 4 of the championship in our promotion relegation system mid-season in GT Challenge, and has done good things. You'd have to say he did very, very well at Indianapolis, and trying to carry that into here and maybe mark himself as a staple for GT Challenge for future seasons. Of course, everyone's got to re-qualify next season, I think.
Except Pro.
Oh, yeah, no, just for here.
You should give it a go.
Absolutely not. I mean, for anyone who's known me for any sort of length of time, they know that GTs plus me equals I'm fine, thanks. Not a GT driver myself. Not a fan. You can't hit people off like you can in touring cars. 3 seconds now, the gap between D'Amelio and Jordi Zveers. We might well see a Jean Lacey Esports 1-2.
Could be a 1-2-3. You never know.
Well, unless D'Amelio drops it, I don't think that's going to happen. And also, unless the stewards are very kind to Casper Stolzer, I don't think it's going to end. We've already seen the John Lacey Sports Academy 1-2-3 this season, because we saw it back in the Virginia International Raceway. It was stripped from us, courtesy of Tez, which is penalties. To say, by the way, I think this almost sounds like a negative. As we see with Veltons, I think he's going to back out of it a little bit here before trying to make a move. To say that Alan Terzic has had his fair few penalties on a couple of rounds this season. To say that he's running 4th in the championship and only 18 points off the championship lead, it shows how strong of a campaign that he's had this season, as Matt Richards is now part of this, trying to drift his way around the outside of
That's
Ilias
a
Fernandez.
great move.
That is beautiful stuff. Saw the gap, went for it. Fernandez is going to be able to hang around the outside of the chicane. Best drive, obviously, in the wet. You want the straighter line on exit of the corner. Oh, see you, Arjun. That's quite a straight line on exit, although I don't think it's going to be great for him. Dropping that one. Pradhan, though, 15th. Matt Richards not able to do anything. Now in the slipstream. Only a couple more laps to go before we've settled the season. And I think Richards would dearly love to get himself up a couple more positions. I don't think he knows that he's particularly safe when it comes to things in the championship. He is very much 6th place in the standings. So he is going into that relegation almost as if, even if nothing else happens. Or even if something really dramatic happens, is going around the outside. Veltons, there's contact, the BMW's gone. That BMW has gone. Arjen Veltons has gone. These two are going to be gaining a couple of positions. Here comes Donat Pradhan. There's the BMW of the GOAT team BMW coming through all of this. That's 3 positions in 2 corners for Matt Richards. He also gets by Ilias Fernandez. Whoa. Well, we need a replay of that one. I'm sure we're queuing it up with rapid speed. Broadcast producer Ruben Carrera. I don't think he's...
Is he going to want to show his car going into a wall, though?
No.
Oh, he is.
Talk us through it.
Right, so Fernandez has moved over to cover the inside line. I'm assuming the dev is going to come round the outside. That's Velton, sorry. It's just that little bit of contact that sends him facing a man with a flag.
The lightest touch. Turkka Häkkinen. Turkka Häkkinen's gone. Turkka Häkkinen's gone. Oh no, after such a good drive, his chances of getting a top 10 in the championship have dissipated. Dropped down into 9th place after all of that hard work to move his way back up the order. The 9th place he's currently running. That is a huge shame, as now Alex Seabor's very quickly getting on the points. Power to him, he's doing very well with this.
He's doing it so we don't have to.
Yeah, absolutely. I've made my own spreadsheet to handle this, but don't need it. If
let's get someone else to do it for free.
Maybe this is what his PhD is. Was it? No, it's not PhD. It's what was he?
His masters.
Masters. Yeah, he's been a bit of a busy boy. As
here
Alex
we go.
Siegel. Matt Richards now trying to get by the Ferrari. Final lap of the race. Final lap of the season. We are heading on to 10.6 seconds. Alan Terzic is leading from good mate Luca D'Amelio. Now to the outside. Matt Richards trying to work his way back up this order after being spun off. Nearly being spun off again. Yeah, I was going to say nearly being spun off again. As he does take 13th position from Donat Pradhan. In the background, those two are going to remain side by side into La Source. There we go.
Rip.
See you, Donat Pradhan. And that was not ideal. Wheel gone, position done, race over. That wasn't great. That's not great either.
No,
my God. You've not got a wheel, son. Just press the escape key. Your time is done in the championship. I think Fernandez might be in for quite a large slap on the wrist after that one. I don't think we might get a replay. Depends on how fast we can get that replay out before the end of this race. Oh,
this might be it.
What a man. Here we are.
Right.
We're on board with Fernandez as well. Talk us through it.
I think I'll just put...
that's Fernandez.
Yeah.
That is a hard hit. Oh my goodness me. That was
his eyes have come out the back of his skull.
Well, here we go then. Coming through into the final section of the racetrack. The rain coming down here at Spa. It has been a long day, a long season. 1 second separates D'Amelio and Jordi Sveers. We'll catch back up with that one if anything happens between the two of them. But through the final couple of corners, through Blanchimont towards the chicane, departing Jean Alesi Esports. And what a run it has been. Look at him slipping and sliding with joy, with pride, part of the team for a very short while. Alan Terzic is going to depart the GT Challenge Series, heading up into GT Pro with yet another race win. It's win number 2 for Alan Terzic. And Dente will be proud of that one. Luca D'Amelio is going to hang on to second place. And coming through in third, we've got that battle between these two. But let's take a look at third place coming across the line as Jordi Sveers is going to become your rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO champion. He has done the work. And oh, Archie, the championship shall be yours. Stolzer in behind with William Smeedle in 6th place. And here's Ibrahim Khan coming in 7th for Smeedle. It just wasn't quite enough. Big donuts on the exit of La Source for Jordi Sveers. That is absolutely massive. There's another replay of that crash.
Bang.
And it does just stop. But bravo, we would stand up and applaud you, Mr. Jordi Sveers, the Flying Dutchman, doing it here at Spa, doing it across the season, potentially the unfavoured Ferrari in a Callaway Cup, takes victory and takes top honours.
It's happened again, hasn't it? Because Michi Hoyer won last season in an unfavoured Audi in a sea of McLarens. Bravo.
I don't know how much more to say about that. What a drive. I'd very much like to go and see him cruise up with his good mate Alan Terzic. But wow, what a way to end the season.
There are no words. What an ending.
What an ending. What an ending indeed. There is our race order, and there's the donuts in the background for our series champion Jordi Sveers. Alan Terzic taking victory from D'Amelio, from Jordi, from Stolzer, and from Matthew Williams. So a good drive to get inside the top 5 for William Smeedle. Only good enough for 6th after being spun around from Kasper Stolzer. Then Ibrahim Khan, Moritz Mel, Terga Hakkinen, and Juan Carlos Fernandez. What a race. That was a good race to end the season on, I feel. Yes, there was that incident, but for the most part, that was a nice way to end the season, putting to bed the fears that it might be a little bit dangerous considering the season we've had.
Yeah, it was entertaining from start to finish for the whole hour or so of racing we had. You can see the slow-mo donuts in the background. Alan Terzic taking a dominant win. So watch out for him next season in GT Pro with a new team and a new car.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see on that one. He's got, obviously, to depart the Ferraris of Jean Alesi Esports Academy over into a BMW of BS competition, how that'll play out and all of that. He's doing a lot of driving recently elsewhere in sim racing, and we'll see his take on rFactor 2 in future. There's the rest of your finishing order here at Spa. Philippe Capamajan, Nick Jacobs, Matt Richards got himself back up into 13th place after being not so elegantly spun off earlier in the race. Jorgen Dev, Giancarlo Velarde, Arjen Veltens, Andrea Terzi in 17th place after being on some very, very worn wets with Ilias Fernandez de la Pradon retiring from the race. Dan Kell a lap down at the end of all of that. David Serra as well, technically classified as a finisher. And then Timotei Antonovsky and Paul Auguste Lana, our final few runners. Must be said, it has been a very dramatic season. Maybe the words great season can't be plastered on this, but it's been a fun venture, Aidan, hasn't it?
Yeah, the next one to start in March. So, speculation about the BOP inbound and all that good stuff, but hopefully Studio 397 can get a really nice tight-knit pack of GT3 cars for next season. We'll get a lot of variety. We'll get McLarens. Might even get the old Radical or two. See what else turns up the grid. Have a nice, colourful grid with some great action for season 3.
Before that, though, we have to decide which other 5 drivers are going to make it 30 on the GT Pro grid. Be sure to tune in on the 1st of February 2021 when we head to wherever tracks it'll be. It'll be a few, same as it was last season, to get those final 5 drivers a part of the grid. Obviously, the relegation playoff being 6 to 10 from GT Challenge, and then being 21st to 25th from GT Pro. And then we'll be ready to kick off again. March 2021, Season 3 will be underway, and hopefully it will be at least as exciting as this one, hopefully a little bit cleaner. Thank you to everyone for watching throughout the season. Thank you to the support of rFactor 2, of course, and the really good support as well from VCO Esports and the race, who have helped us power through this season. It's been a fantastic one, and of course Ruben Carrera-Alves doing the broadcasts as well throughout GT Pro and GT Challenge. We'll hope that you join us in the new year for the new season. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and Happy New Year and goodbye.